torture convention? What's a torture convention? Is that like Comic-Con but for assholes? Immigration.
Give us your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. Sometimes.
Today, we're gonna find out what does it take to get into America.
Am I allowed to lie on this test?
Not a good idea.
Okay.
Both my parents are immigrants, but I have no idea what the steps are. I don't know if they had to like submit headshots or do like an audition reel. Hello, my name is Jay. I like freedom, rap music, and I like cowboy boots. America now?
I'm Hiroshi Motomura. I teach law at the UCLA School of Law.
Is it easy to get into America?
Depends on who you are. So we let about 1 million people in the country legally every year. I mean, a lot of people think it should be more, a lot of people think it should be less.
So you can't just come because you want to?
You can't come because you want to. I mean, it's a long process, and it's longer for some people than others. Depends partly on the country you're from and your skill level.
I hear a lot that the immigration system is broken.
Well, yeah, it's broken. That's the one thing that people agree about.
But how is it broken?
How is it broken, right?
Today we're going to find out just how hard it would be to actually immigrate and then become a citizen in the United States of America.
You have to pass a test of history and civics. You know, it's often said that a lot of Americans wouldn't be able to pass a citizenship test.
We're gonna find out today.
In Tennessee, they mostly only teach you Tennessee history, and that is super useless.
What do we call the first 10 amendments to the Constitution?
The first 10, oh boy.
The Bill of Rights.
The Bill of Rights.
The Magna Carta. It's been a long time since I did school.
Who is the governor of your state?
Oof, fuck. Who is the governor of our state?
Jerry Brown.
Never heard of him. Who is he? What's he look like? Old? White? Yeah.
What is the last day you can send in federal income tax forms?
Oh my God. I think I actually know this because I always miss this date.
No, April 20th is 420. That's not the answer. That's not the answer.
What did Susan B. Anthony do?
Susan B. Anthony designed the first U.S. flag. Damn it.
She was a boss-ass bitch. Didn't need no man.
You passed?
Yeah.
Well, that's good news as far as the citizenship test goes. The more complicated part of this is even getting in the group of people that's allowed to take it, unless you've had a green card for 5 years.
Wait, what?
Someone could be waiting 10 or 15 years if they're waiting to get a green card.
Just for the green card.
Just for the green card.
I thought we were
This was.
Let me explain. What we're talking about is coming to this country as a so-called immigrant. You're not a citizen. This is about getting in and being allowed to stay indefinitely. Being a citizen is a whole other set of hoops that you have to jump through.
Who puts all these hoops in the air? Where are these hoops coming from, Hiroshi? Today we're going to meet some people who are citizens, some people who aren't citizens yet, but people who have come to America to live a better life.
My family is from Iran. They came to the United States right after the Iranian Revolution. My aunt was executed. My mom was the next one that was supposed to be executed. She escaped with my other aunt, both on horseback, going through the mountains, just trying to find some place like home.
I moved to the US 5 years ago to study college, so I had to apply for a student visa. My hometown, Tampico, Mexico, was undergoing lots of drug cartel violence at the time. I left both because of safety reasons and also to give myself more opportunities.
We're going to simulate how to get in the country legally. There are 4 different ways to get into this country. What your relatives are, if you have a job prospect. We also protect people fleeing persecution, and there's this lottery. I've written out a few pretty typical stories. A couple of them are from Iran, a couple of them are from Mexico.
Zach and I are going to be here with Maral to represent Iran, and then Maral will help contextualize the Iranian perspective.
She's here to make sure we don't fuck it all up.
It's crazy to say it's easy to get in the country. I mean, it's easy if you have a PhD and even won a Nobel Prize. Eugene is this 23-year-old woman, and your name is Avide, and you're a student at a university studying physics and chemical engineering.
Fake Iranian me is so much smarter than real me.
You've recently spoken out against Islamic fundamentalism.
I think I have a crush on Iranian Eugene.
Don't have a crush on fake me.
You've received some threatening phone calls accusing you of subversive politics, but you don't know who made the calls. You think it'd be a good idea to think about leaving Iran, and you think about the United States.
People are calling and threatening my beautiful Avide.
I don't know you. We've never met.
So Ned, here's your story. Now you're a college grad and you work as a bank officer at a private bank in Mexico City. You often travel internationally and recently met and fell in love with a man from Peru. And he got his green card 6 years ago. The two of you want to marry.
My husband.
You want to bring with you a 6-year-old daughter and a 4-year-old son from a previous marriage.
And your first husband turned into a cat.
And you have a mother who's attached to her grandchildren and would be heartbroken if they went with you to LA.
Well, please.
You're a 55-year-old man.
What's his name?
Firuz.
Oh,
Firuz?
She loves it.
I love Firuz. That's very poetic.
I'm poetic.
Yeah.
You've been working as a barber, living in a Tehran suburb. I'm afraid you've been recently widowed.
That means I'm single.
You have a sister, and the sister immigrated 15 years ago to Los Angeles, where she owns a hair salon.
So I need to get my sister to become a citizen.
And then you could just marry
so
your
that-
sister.
No, Esmeralda, that's not how that works.
Keith, you work as a carpenter and a landscaper in Mexico. The whole construction industry has been drying up in your town.
That's pretty shitty.
You think your prospects for your 3 children would be much better in the United States.
I'm a family man. I want to set a good example.
One thing I didn't tell you, that you dropped out of high school.
Fuck. Should have done that. But I was partying a lot back then.
Or you couldn't afford to be in school. Well, realistically, you just need to work.
There's a lot of other reasons you might drop out from high school other than partying.
I like to party. I'm not saying everybody likes to party. I'm just me. I'm me. Mariano, party man.
Okay, so you've got a tough choice to make.
Wow, this is a lot to unpackage.
Do I have any superpowers?
What do we know about Abede?
So I would say that she comes from a pretty well-off family. Also that she's highly intelligent. So
Like naturally beautiful.
just like with no makeup whatsoever.
Hey,
For a
you works
bank?
at a bank.
You have some funds, you have an income.
Rob the bank.
No, I'm not gonna rob the bank. I'm not gonna rob the bank.
But if you don't have family here, you don't have a job, you don't have a claim for persecution, and you don't win the lottery, you're out.
I'm going to go for a work visa because I have the most magical fingers in all of Tehran.
It's possible your sister could sponsor you, but she's going to have to show that you are not taking a job away from an American worker.
That's the one I had to fill out.
You had to prove that you wouldn't take anyone else's jobs?
Yeah.
They have to basically advertise the job. If everyone's rejected for a legitimate reason, then you're the only one left standing, then we can hire you, but then that process can take several years.
Do we have scissors here? Because I can show you how good I am. I think like a nice fade on the side.
Stop making us not want Firuz to immigrate. You're already insufferable.
I have got some dependents. Am I allowed to go to LA just to visit?
Tourist visa is a so-called non-immigrant visa. That means that you have to convince someone, let's say at the U.S. Embassy, that if you come into the United States as a tourist, you will actually leave.
So no ties
Overstay my
in
tourist
the U.S.
visa. Oh, okay. So I was gonna say get a tourist visa, go get married.
So the U.S. government is going to give you a visa if they think you might overstay.
Love knows no laws. Love knows no
Then rob the
laws.
bank.
I might have well-founded persecution, right?
You're going to have to show that this amounts to some kind of pattern where you're really under some kind of threat.
You don't think that his threatening phone calls are credible enough?
You've only gotten a few calls.
Hiroshi, you say a few as if this is a normal thing.
You don't exactly want to put yourself out there so you get more threats, right?
There are so many countries in the world that you say one thing and it's a life and death situation and you're done.
Much rather have a student visa than put myself in more danger to prove that I'm in danger.
Turns out you have a cousin who's living, but without papers, in Los Angeles, and he offers to do what he can to help you move to LA.
And is that a quick application process?
There is a temporary worker program.
Like a 5-year visa.
Think in terms, practically speaking, of a year.
A year?
You might be thinking, I want to get a green card. The problem is it's really hard to do that if you don't have a college degree.
Could I finish high school now and apply to a college?
That's an option.
But I need to make money. I don't need to pay money.
Yeah.
You have a family.
Do I have any friends with strong Photoshop skills and I could get a diploma that's a fake diploma?
So you're relying on family connection.
I think that's all I got.
Your sister could become a citizen if she isn't already, and she can sponsor you, but the problem with that is then you get into a line that's many years long.
Well, is that not the fastest line?
Could be 15 or 20 years.
15 to 20 years?
Depends partly on the country you're from.
That's a long line.
For some people, it's a retirement program.
God, I'm gonna be here forever.
Every month, the State Department puts out this list of who we're letting in today. So if you're from a big country, in terms of population, you gotta wait longer than if you're from a smaller country. But if you marry someone who is a U.S. citizen, then technically there's no line.
Where should we get married and what type of dresses should I have the bridesmaids wear?
That's the important question here.
One thing that does count in your favor is that you can bring your children with you.
What about Abuelita?
The problem is you can bring your children, but not your parents.
She gets left behind.
But think about this, it's gonna take like 10 years. How old is Abuelita? I was being honest, it might not be a problem. People come and go.
And I don't want a winter wedding.
Let me just mention a couple of complications with Avide's scenario.
You don't have to.
One is that you've got to be able to prove financial support for this period, because you won't be allowed to work.
Oh my gosh, and then you have to find a job within your field of study, so it's not like you can be a waitress for to pay rent or something. You have 9 days to find a job within your field of study.
I'm not dating you. You do not have any money. I knew that was what you were going to say.
I'm currently on an H-1B work visa, a visa that the current administration has promised to get rid of.
If you got a permanent job, the employer could sponsor you. This is complicated, though.
My path to citizenship would be through my employer, so I would need to stay with my organization for a long time for them to sponsor me through the whole green card process.
This is the plight of all of my international student friends.
I have a couple of friends who were international students with me, and they weren't able to find jobs, so now they have to go home. Fortunately, that was not the case for me.
Does this mean we're getting married?
Hell no.
Damn.
Okay, so I feel like my plan now, since I don't want to leave Abuelita, I'm gonna get Eduardo to apply for citizenship, get married, maybe we'll live in Mexico City for a while, tend to Abuela, and then after she passes, we can move to LA.
Ouch.
She's going to die at some point. I don't know what to do.
I'm gonna build a boat,
This sounds very biblical.
then I'm gonna sell the boat. Now I got some money, then I'm gonna build another boat. But the family on that boat, we're gonna go up the coast. We're in America.
I don't know if that's how it works.
Why can't it work? Has anyone ever tried the double boat method?
It's getting creative here.
I've got to do something to save my family. I got 3 kids depending on me. There's no path for me.
A lot of this has to do with the mismatch between what our economy seems to want and the people we actually let in. Millions of employers in this country who think they need immigrant workers. We have a Congress who's not willing to create lines to stand in if you don't have a college degree.
People want to hire me.
There are jobs that are...
I can build boats for days.
So a lot of people say, why don't you stand in line? Well, there's no line to stand in. But I also, immigrants do a lot of the work that keeps businesses in this country, and they create jobs for all kinds of people, including a lot of Americans.
What is this paperwork?
The form you're looking at is for someone who wants to get a green card.
I think you gave me multiple by accident.
It's giving me anxiety just to see them because I've had to fill out so many of these forms before.
There's a separate form for temporary workers.
And then this is to become a citizen.
5 years later, you could apply for citizenship.
I'm gonna be dead by then.
Maybe I should just go to Mexico City. Seems like there's a lot of banks there.
I bet our kids will be friends.
The fees could run you in the hundreds to a few thousands of dollars. Lawyers' fees might run you thousands of dollars if there are complicated issues in the case.
I don't think I have enough money to fill out these forms and eat.
But there's one other complication I want to mention, and that is a travel ban in effect.
Oh yeah, that thing.
The basic idea is to suspend immigration from first 7, now 6 different countries. I mean, the one that's most affected is Iran, actually. I mean, about half the people affected. And there's also a separate reduction in number of refugees that are allowed to come in. So it's been defended as a national security measure, but it's being challenged by saying that it's a pretext. It's also challenged by saying, hey, this is really targeting Muslims. It's following through on the campaign promise of a Muslim ban.
I remember distinctively the day that my mom texted me about the travel ban, and she was like, call me. Like, I could hear the tears in her voice, and it was very much of her just talking about how many families don't have a future.
Becoming a U.S. citizen was only available to free white persons. It's only in 1952.
1952?
1952 is the first time Congress says, we're going to let you become a citizen regardless of the country you're from. What we think it was normal America used to be seen as really exotic. There was a time in the mid-1800s where the real concern was Catholics because they owed allegiance to the Pope and they couldn't possibly be good Americans. History doesn't repeat itself, but it often rhymes.
I chose to go a more student-based route.
Yeah. You might, and a lot of people do, leave themselves open to getting job offers when they graduate. That is going to allow you to get a green card. But there are a lot of pitfalls along the way, and a lot of people don't make it through. I mean, a lot of people don't ever find that employer. You don't know how long it's going to take. You don't know if something will go wrong. Having your mom come visit you later, that might be tough because there's a suspicion maybe she'll stay. And you got to make some choices about your family life.
It's like I can ultimately make make it to America, but it would come at great personal sacrifice.
Even though that's the quickest path, supposedly.
Wow.
It's gotten so much harder over the years. She can try to sponsor you, but that's a really long line. It's really measured in decades now, and so like, I suppose there are some people who think that's the way the system ought to be, but no matter where you come out on that, I mean, the fact is, it's really hard to get into this country.
How many people would you say are kind of wanting to come to America, but there's just no path?
The answer's got to be in the millions, because we have 11 million people in this country who don't have legal status, and people sometimes say, why don't you stand in line? Well, I'm not sure there's much of a line for you to stand in.
I'm gonna come here without papers and just send money back to my family until they find me.
Well, a lot of people are doing that.
That's what I would do, and I totally understand why you do that.
I'm ashamed at how much I was unaware of. So much of whether or not you can get to America is out of your control. It's where were you born? How much money were you born into? Did you have the privilege and the opportunity to get an education? Because guess what? You could also work really hard and still not get it.
Many times we talk about immigrants with this blanket terminology, when in fact it's a very nuanced, highly personal, diverse, perspective-driven process that changes from individual to individual, and generally it favors people who have higher educations and a little bit more money. And so I think that's the sad thing, is that the most un-American thing is trying to block people out who are doing the most American thing, working hard to have a better life.
For anyone to have a perspective of those people shouldn't be here, America first, it's garbage. People are dying in other countries. That's why they want to come here. They want to have lives.
The fact that we're here just speaks to what America can be and what it should be.
And that we all are just a human race,